Good morning. How are you all doing? You need some coffee, I see here. Really great to be here. As Arpit said, my name is Igal Elbaz. I have the privilege to serve as the network CTO of AT&T. Before I start, Arpit, I want to say thank you and for you and for the Linux Foundation for, first of all, for having this event, but most importantly, for pushing us forward in areas of open networking and AI and edge and network APIs and network management, and also for allowing us to create a vibrant community of developers, open source and standards in all of those key areas. So thank you. I'm sure you heard this from many people. It's so great to see so many people in face-to-face, some familiar faces here in the audience. We're coming off a couple of really challenging years with COVID. However, I think we all learned a couple of key takeaways for our industry. One, the criticality of connectivity and network in everyone's life. And the second one is the resiliency of our industry. 5G has emerged during a global pandemic. And we could talk about in around March or April of 2020, and we would ask ourselves, are we going to be able to really build it? And now fast forward, being on the other side of this, hopefully we can say that we're on the other side. We can say confidently, we didn't miss a bit. And we're actually watching the fastest growing wireless network ever. In 3 years, there's more than 220 operators in 85 countries already launched 5G. At the end of this year, there are going to be over 1 billion 5G connections globally. That's pretty remarkable. The Linux Foundation networking event is a place in which, as Arpit said, AT&T always came and shared our progress in terms of our network. And this year is going to be no different. Hopefully by the end of my presentation, you'll get an appreciation of our journey, as well as the magnitude on which we are operating. One of the most important things that we are all trying to solve for here is the accelerated growth in the demand for connectivity. This is the one thing that will never change. There's always going to be one more device that connects on the network, and the average consumptions will always go up. In fact, nowadays, there's about 540 petabytes of data traversing our network every single day. We are seeing 30% growth year over year on our network. It was close to 40% during COVID. An average monthly consumption of a 5G device is almost double an LTE device. We are at the dawn of a new age in connectivity, which will fundamentally impact how we connect and how we build networks. The way for us to address this in AT&T is to have a bold mission to be the best broadband company in America. And in order for us to achieve that, we are aggressively building two scaled platforms: a wireless 5G network and a multi-gig fiber network. And you'll be surprised, they are much more integrated than what they used to be in the past. First, they serve the same purpose, which is broadband. But in addition to this, over the years, we all realized that there is no 5G without fiber. And wherever fiber goes, wireless goes. And for that, for many years in AT&T, we have an integrated fiber build and plan that allows us to build fiber routes that from them we can hang off three distinct services: wireless, consumer broadband, and enterprise broadband. And now we're also converging those services at the edge of our network, which I'll discuss later on. A little bit about our 5G journey. So, if you don't remember, I'll remind you. We were the first to launch standard-based mobile 5G in the world. That was at the end of 2018, and we launched it in part of 12 cities. Since then, we've accomplished a lot. In the summer of 2020, we had a nationwide 5G with our coverage layer. Today, We are covering more than 285 million POPs in more than 22,000 cities and towns around the nation. We are heads down deploying our mid-band spectrum that we've acquired last year. That is the layer that allows us to add a lot of capacity into the network with a lot of 5G capabilities like massive MIMO and beamforming. We're already covering more than 100 million POPs in the US, and we're going to cross 130 by the end of this year. That's way ahead of our plans. All our 5G users are served out of a virtual platform running on a cloud infrastructure on our prem, whether it's non-standalone. And last month, we've announced the launch of our standalone core, and we are now moving our customers into that core. And just a reminder, this is the core that allow us to run cloud native and a lot of the capabilities that come with standalone. And from day one, we were able to aggregate our mid-band and low-band on that standalone core to allow new experiences for our customers. There is no 5G without edge. Right? This is a fundamental concept in edge, which the idea behind this is to bring compute, storage, and networking close to the users. So we can create a platform for innovation around low latency and unleash some of the experiences that we're all talking about when we're discussing 5G, whether it's immersive experiences or connected or autonomous cars, etc. And for that, we've announced last month what we call the 5G edge zones, the AT&T 5G edge zones. And what we've done is in 10 markets, key markets in the US, we are bringing together our converged multi-service edge with our mobility core through Coast Connect, seamlessly integrating or connecting into the hyperscalers or the public cloud, into their regional zones, into their edge zones. We've always decided that we're not going to be in the cloud and in the storage business. So we're integrating with Azure and others at the edge and bringing those capabilities together. How many of you are app developers? Well, not too many. That's fine, maybe one day. That is a platform for innovation. We'll grow those zones to 12 by the end of this year, and that will cover more than 70% of the US population with low latency. We are now able to develop experiences and applications that can take advantage of low latency, like we all promised during 5G. Let's talk about some of the growth in the demand and in the usage in homes, in broadband. What we're observing is a significant growth in that usage. Obviously, that was accelerated during COVID. We're seeing number of devices connected at home. It's now about 15 in average. We believe it's going to be 30 by 2025. People are watching at least 3 hours a day of video. The format that people are using for video is moving from HD to 4K. Over time, it's going to move to 8K. Some of the experiences around education and stuff may be in augmented reality and others. So we're expecting a data increase of 5 times between now and 2025 in terms of the consumption inside of the home. And for that, we have a bold, aggressive build. We are building about 350 living units every hour. And that is putting us in pace to reach our goal of covering 30 million living units by the end of 2025. If you visited those conferences over the years, then you know that for years we've been very vocal about our software-defined networking and virtualization journey. We shared our vision, we shared our targets, and we also shared our progress. And right now, I can say that we have a track record of not only presenting this, but actually implementing and deploying those architectures and platforms at scale in our network. We have the knowledge and the experience of doing this. And moving forward, let's see where we are. I actually want to start with O-RAN. Something that there's a lot of discussion around out there. Wireless network will be open over time. For sure, AT&T wireless network will be open over time. It's not going to open overnight. There's a level of maturity that needs to occur in the ecosystem, but I'm pretty confident that it will happen. AT&T was a founding member of the Open RAN Alliance, and will continue to be part of this. And we see a lot of importance of opening and creating openness and disaggregation and open interfaces in the wireless network. It's highly integrated today, for good reasons. It serves us very well for many years. But it's time now to add a next level of innovation in creating a vibrant ecosystem in that space. We have experience with Open Frontal. We are engaged in trials around RAN intelligent controller or network management, and will continue to push forward in that space. And remember, at the end of the day, not all of network are equal. We are an established network. But we proved over the years that we have the experience and the knowledge to assess what is the right time, what is the right insertion point for us to introduce new technologies and new architecture into the network. And here's a few examples from other domains, such as our routing and transport area, things that we've been sharing with the industry for years. We are pushing forward in the areas of open and disaggregated hardware when it comes to IP routing. 30,000 of our cell site routers are already running on such an architecture. Almost the same numbers. We're seeing this in our enterprise routing 8 points. But now we're extending this to the rest of our network. We are building a Broadcom-based Jericho2 platform, open disaggregated platform for our core backbone. We're running on this a network operating system from a company called DriveNets. And we've actually deploying this in our network. And let me share with you that close to 50% of our traffic is already running on that open and disaggregated architecture. 50% of our traffic. And now we're extending this into the edge, where we're building a true converged multi-service edge running on the same hardware platform, same open disaggregated platform. The only difference is that we're running a Cisco network operating system. We've already started to deploy this, and we're going to scale it in 2023. Several years ago, AT&T has created the Open ROADM Alliance. And let me share with you that we already have 100 nodes of Open ROADM in our network, and that is another thing that we're going to scale in 2023. And on top of all of this, we have software-based multi-layer controllers that helps us to optimize our utilization and the reliability of the network, and helps us to do rapid configuration all the way from layer 3 to layer 0 of our core backbone. Cloud and virtualization was a big part of our journey. I mentioned that all of our 5G users are served out of a virtual platform running on a network cloud on our premise. And this will continue to other parts of the network. I believe we shared with everyone about 18 months ago that we have a strategic partnership with Microsoft and with Azure, on which they've acquired our network cloud engineering and software stack, and now they're integrating this with the Azure tools and automation that they've built for years to running their public cloud to create a carrier-grade network cloud platform that we can then consume back and license back and deploy it on our servers in our data centers to continue to scale that cloud platform. One thing that we probably, if you look back into LTE, there was a huge wave of innovation. The mobile economy was created. And to be honest, we, the operator, we were limited in our ability to participate in that value creation. There is an opportunity for us to change that in 5G. You bring together the edge that I shared, this low latency, capabilities like slicing, and most importantly, the built-in into the architecture network APIs. APIs in areas of security and network KPIs and device information. All of them combined are now an opportunity for us to wrap them in a way that can guide developers to build applications into the network. We are engaged in, obviously, Camara, which helps us to standardize all of those APIs across the industry, across the operators, but also in MEF and in TM forums that allows us to standardize API not just on the wireless side, but also on the wireline and also all the way into the systems. So a critical area for us to be able to continue and expose network APIs in a way that are consumable by developers. On the wireless side, we're very excited from the possibilities that comes with segment routing, mainly in the areas of being able to observe and look at flows in real time. Close to the end here, and you know, we have talked about cloud and openness and disaggregation, and can we now think about cloud-based and on-demand networking and programmability? And if you bring them all together, that sounds like a bunch of buzzwords. The reality is that all of those domains are actually maturing. We are actually seeing them being deployed at scale in networks. And now we can start imagining applications and intent informing the network and exchanging information with the network without pre-configuring them in advance. Being able to be adaptable to experiences. And having developers, for the first time, actually developing to the network, because the network can help them to offload and help them with intelligence and help them with capabilities that we couldn't do before. So to summarize, we've talked about many of those concepts for many years. They're happening now at scale. You're seeing them deployed at scales across networks, for sure in our network. I couldn't be more excited being part of this industry than this time. A lot of those concepts, we're seeing them, we're observing them, people are taking advantage of them, and I look forward to continue and see what's going to transpire in our industry and how we're going to continue to take advantage of openness and disaggregation and intelligence and other capabilities such as cloud that are supporting the continuous build of networks. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you, and